everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the Silver Surge Sports Enthusiast and Pop Culture channel. I am once again, as I always am, your host, Silver Surge, coming back at you with a fresh new content video. And today, I want to go over a second quick video to show my resurgence in video making. But I want to cover the Pokemon Sword and Shield games for the Nintendo Switch and the expansion passes that dropped a little over 2 weeks ago. The Isle of Armor being one of two. The second is going to be the Crown Tundra dropping, I think, in the fall. But yeah, so Pokemon Sword and Shield, I haven't really touched much on that in my videos over the course of the last handful of months. Obviously, I haven't even been here for the last handful of months, but the Sword and Shield games, yeah, they were pretty fun when they first came out. A lot of people say they were a little easy. They were not very challenging. And in many ways, the fan base is right. It's really easy to level up your Pokemon, and getting through the game, if you stay committed, can probably take you, for the average person, about 3-4 days, if that. Not too much time to get through the entire storyline, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else to really do. The great open, wild area, whatever it's called, I can't even remember now, was kind of a disappointment because it's only one section of the game. They made it seem like it was a vast majority of the game in the previews before they launched Sword and Shield officially, and it wasn't. And then come to find there was a lot of Pokemon missing from the decks that they didn't include, which was angering to a lot of fans. And people just weren't happy with the fact that it felt like an incomplete game overall. So, and I don't blame them. I kind of felt the same way. There was a handful of my favorite Pokemon that I was incredibly disappointed that did not make the cut. A couple of those were Absol, Salamence, Groudon, the legendary Pokemon, Luxray, just classic Pokemon that got cut out of the game. It just wasn't really right. It felt unfinished and not like a final version of the game. But anyway, they came out instead of dropping a brand new game with a couple of expansion passes, and one was slated for June, which we just got, like I said, was to the Isle of Armor, and then the other was the Crown Tundra coming in the fall. Now, the Isle of Armor, I have played through, and actually, it gave me a lot more than I expected. It was a $30 investment to buy both the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra expansion for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, granted, I own both versions, so I bought both expansions, so it cost me $60. So basically, it was the price of a new game for both passes, or both games. But I really enjoyed the Isle of Armor expansion. It felt a lot more open, like I was just stating in the early. There's a lot more open space. The entire island is basically an open world of Pokemon hunting and surfing and all that fun stuff. So it's really, really big and spread out, and there's so many diverse areas for Pokemon to hide and jump out at you, and they added a lot more Pokemon, which was really cool, and that's what the game was missing. It's still incomplete. They're going to be adding another section of Pokemon for the Crown Tundra expansion, but they added some classic ones back. One of them was Luxray and the Shinx evolution line, and that made me very happy because Luxray is one of my favorite Pokemon. But anyway, yeah, the whole premise of the expansion pack I think, was really well done. You start off arriving on the Isle of Armor, greeted by a new rival that you would challenge against throughout this island story. You're going to be basically training at a dojo run by the headmaster named Mustard, but I like to call him Colonel Mustard, based off the Clue game. But yeah, this is old dude that's basically has this secret armor that he gives to the person who passes 3 trials in his dojo. And I don't want to spoil anything of how the storyline goes, but it's really, really fun. And obviously, you end up getting new Pokemon, and a brand new Pokemon comes to you, and all sorts of stuff. And there's more Gigantamax evolutions you get to do soon. At the end of the story, and it's a very quick story. It doesn't take very long to complete, but it's really, really fun. And there's, like I said, so many more Pokemon and challenges and stuff to go after in the Isle of Armor. And Colonel Mustard, in my opinion, is an amazing character. I love him. I really wish he had a little bit more involvement in the base game, and they didn't have to wait till the DLC to talk to him. And include him, but he's a very great character to the Pokemon Sword and Shield franchise, and I'm really happy with Colonel Mustard. I originally thought he was going to be just some stupid side character when they announced Mustard in a trailer video, but he's easily was probably my favorite character from the entire DLC pass that you got introduced to. Your rival's basically a bitch. really not important character. They're just all they do is whine and try to undermine you the whole time. And the the uh, the dojo master's wife, I forget what her name is, but she's like this sweet lady who helps guide you and stuff, kind of every so often. But Mustard, yeah, he's definitely a cool cat. I like him a lot. And then there's two areas for you to train post story. It's like the Tower of Darkness and the something of Tower of Water or something like that. And it's basically what it is you have to train in these dojos to these towers, I should say, to train up a Pokemon that you get in the story, and then it evolves into Urshifu, which you've pretty much heard all about. It's not really a spoiler at this point, but yeah. So anyway, this entire DLC pass, I mean, $15 for this whole thing for basically narrowing it down to a little bit more story, a lot more open world, a lot more Pokemon. Um, I think it's worth it. It's fun. If you're a hardcore Pokemon fan, you'll really like this expansion pass. And we're going to get basically the same kind of treatment for Crown Tundra when it comes out in the fall. And I was really pleased with it overall. Because Sword and Shield, like I said earlier in the video, just felt unpolished, unclean. Um, not unclean, but unfinished. Just not. It felt incomplete, like I said. That's what I'm trying to say. It felt incomplete, and there was a lot that was removed from the game, not added. It felt rushed. And now that they added more open world stuff, which people were clamoring for, and then they added a lot more Pokemon that were missing from the original base game, feels like there's a lot more to do, and really do enjoy that. Now, I will say, for those of you who are teetering whether or not you want to waste money on the Isle of Armor expansion pass, um, like I said, you have to just think to yourself, is it worth it to you? If you're a big Pokemon fan, you'll probably say yes, absolutely, no question about it. But if you're more of a casual gamer and you're like, yeah, I bought Pokemon Sword or Shield just because I wanted a different game and it was kind of easy and boring, it felt kiddish. I don't know. You may not like it, but I'm a big Pokemon fan. I grew up with Pokemon. I'm almost 28, and I've started since the Red and Blue days on the Game Boy. So I've been a hardcore Pokemon fan my whole life. So naturally, I find it more appealing and really fun. But I do think even more casual Pokemon players would enjoy it too. But it just depends on your personal preference. So if you're asking me for my opinion, I would say do it and buy it. It's worth it. I mean, you can even ask other YouTubers, Papa Gino's, Austin John Plays. They all have gone into in-depth analysis about the Isle of Armor and the games themselves, and they'll tell you the same thing. If you're a big Pokemon fan, definitely worth it. If you're a casual Pokemon fan, pretty much worth it. If you're kind of like Pokemon and you just kind of picked up a game, maybe, maybe not. It just depends on you. But I am an advocate for buying it, so I would say do it. But that's pretty much the main thing on the Isle of Armor. Yeah, you meet new Pokemon in the story. You get different Pokemon that were left up in the game initially. You have all this open world. And I will say, if you do get the Isle of Armor, one of the most interesting yet terrifying things in the game is when you're pedaling on water with your little water bike hybrid thing. Spoiler alert: Sharpedo is back in the game, and there will be wild Sharpedo swimming at you full force like basically a wild shark coming at you, and it is horrifying at first. They just come rushing you all the time when you're pedaling through the water across the ocean, across the island, and it's just absolutely terrifying. But it's exciting at the same time when you're trying to outrun the sharks. So that was a kind of a nice little feature they added to the game, and they also have this feature now where you can go back and try to Gigantamax Pokemon that were actually not Gigantamax to start with. So I know it's hard to like find Gigantamax Pokemon in the dens when you do these raid battles and stuff all over the game. But now like they've incorporated this new mechanic in the game where you have to go collect three um, little things called max mushrooms. So you have to find three. They're rare, but you have to find three of these items, and then you go combine them in the dojo into like this soup, and then they give that soup to this Pokemon if they're a Gigantamax capable Pokemon, and then it will automatically turn them into Gigantamax Pokemon. So, for example, if you had like a Toxtricity that you raised in the wild and it wasn't a Gigantamax Toxtricity, then you get it three max mushroom to this kitchen thingy in the dojo, you give it the soup, and then it turns into a Gigantamax Toxtricity, which is pretty cool. So you can do that with all the Pokemon that are capable of Gigantamaxing, like I said, Toxtricity, Kingler, Alcremie, all the starters can now Gigantamax. You can do um, Inteleon, you can do Rillaboom, you can do Cinderace. All three of them are now capable of Gigantamaxing. They also added Gigantamax, Blastoise, and Venusaur, which is freaking amazing. I haven't yet tried out getting a Gigantamax Venusaur, but I have raised a Gigantamax Blastoise, and I absolutely love it. Just as much as I love Gigantamax Charizard when it was revealed to us in the trailers way back when, and when Leon uses it in the champion battle. But Gigantamax, Charizard, and Blastoise are key members of my team right now, and I love them both. And it's really, really fun. And it's interesting because I actually thought the idea of Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing was retarded when I first saw the trailer. And I still really would prefer, if I had my pick, to do Mega Evolution over Gigantamaxing. But it's kind of grown on me over time. I don't hate it as much as I did when I first saw the videos, clips of it and stuff. To me, it just felt like a stupid gimmick, but it's grown on me, and I really actually have come to appreciate it as another game mechanic and alternative to Z moves and Mega Evolutions and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, I really love Gigantamax Blastoise. He's easily probably my favorite Gigantamax addition to this chunk of DLC. He just looks like a beast. He's just giant turtle with giant steel spikes coming out of his shell, and he shoots these water. Oh, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't played it. You gotta see it for yourself, or just look it up on the internet. You do that in like 2 seconds. But anyway, so yeah, so the Isle of Armor. If I was to give it a rating opinion, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, I'd give it a 8.5. I loved it that much, and I definitely think there could be a little bit more. The story is kind of quick, but like I said, there's still so much extra content in the game that makes it worth it. All the extra areas of exploration you can do, the wild open areas, the entire island, and then you can find a lot of new Pokemon. So it's really fun. And then Mustard, of course, you can't not Colonel Mustard. He's just too cool of a cat. So yeah, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely think it's worth a try. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's today's little review, I should say, if you want to call it, over the Isle of Armor DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield game. So now we have next to look forward to is the Crown Tundra coming in the fall. That'll be more of an Arctic, barren wasteland, and you're supposed to be like a backpack hitchhiker or something. And I do know there's going to be a few of legendary newbies coming. There's going to be like new 2 forms of Reggie family evolutions, or not evolutions, but legendaries, and then I think the original trio of birds, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres now have Galarian forms, and I think there's a couple more surprises in there that we're not expecting. But I know Absol's coming back in the Crown Tundra, and I'm really excited about that. I know Garchomp evolution line is coming back in the Crown Tundra, and I think Salamanc's line is coming back in the Crown Tundra. I could be wrong, but I think it is. So there's a lot of new Pokemon. There's a lot of returning Pokemon, and the ones I was bitching about that weren't back in base game that I think are finally coming back. So I'm getting excited for that too. And yeah, honestly, just to tie in a little bit of Smash information to this Pokemon video review, I wouldn't even be surprised. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't even be surprised if at some point, maybe in the fall, when they reveal Crown Tundra to us, or they drop Crown Tundra, if they even make Rillaboom or some other Pokemon in Sword and Shield a Smash character. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could happen, and it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. So, but anyway, that concludes this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my content. Like I said, I really, really, really want to try to be more consistent now, and I'm going to do my best to not make 3 or 4 videos and then take 4 months, then make 3 videos and then take 4 months off. I'm really going to try hard to be more consistent because I want to build my base, and I do enjoy making these videos in my free time. So, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. I'll stop blabbering now, and thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button at the very bottom if you haven't done so already. Otherwise, have a great rest of your afternoon. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.